Hi. So today I wanted to take a look at the Dallas Stars and analyze why this lineup wasn't ready for a cup this year. It's something I sort of predicted. I have a few buddies who are Dallas Stars fans. I kind of want to be nice, but I knew in my heart that this wasn't. This is sort of a preview to a series I'll be starting no, the day after because I have an exam tomorrow. I have a lot of time off, and so I wanted to kick back this channel for a while, and so here we go. But to start, this forward core is beautiful. It really is. But Granlund is on the block. Duchesne. It's Ben. You're not getting all of these guys back. And then down here, obviously, there's a bit more of a show. But we really need to analyze what a Stanley Cup in the modern era of roster building, which is like post COVID, a true one seat. Do they have it in hints? I'm going to say he can and he can't. For the sake of being generous, I'll give him a yes. 2 game breakers or 5+ elite players. Heiskanen, Harley, Robertson, Rantanen, Johnston, they have 5+ elites. If you want to claim game breakers, sure. 7+ top 6 forwards. Did they have that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could argue Marchment. You could argue Seguin. I will say yes. 4 top 4 D-men. No, they did not. Harley and Heiskanen and Lindell are a great, amazing, elite, possibly, if I really think about it, might be the best top 3 D-men on a team in the entire league. I think the only team that comes close is the team that beat them, and Carolina. The problem is this. Cody Ceci. Cody Ceci would not be a top 8 defenseman on the Edmonton Oilers. Think about that for a second. That is the team that just beat them tonight. Cody Ceci wouldn't be a top 8 defenseman on that team. So no, they do not have 4 top 4 D-men. A goalie who can elevate their game in the playoffs. Yes. I don't think Jake Oettinger is as good as people say. However, when it comes to elevating his game, he can and he has and he's good at it. The one thing I will say is with Jake Oettinger, it isn't consistent. It isn't Andrei Vasilevsky, but neither is Stuart Skinner. Neither is Jordan Binnington. Neither is Connor Hellebuck. And even then, I'd say Hellebuck goes down in the class. A great third line. I know this isn't Dallas's actual lines. Their third line was pretty solid. A reliable third pair. I'm going to give it to him. Bishop Petrovic impressed me. I know it wasn't like fantastic, but over the first 2 rounds, I believe they were the most chance dominant pair that Dallas had. I'm not saying that they're spectacular, but I like Liam Bishop's potential, and Alex Petrovic is a solid 60. He's not going to give anything you don't expect of him, but he's not going to be the worst player on the ice. 5 playable lines. This is a newer concept coming into roster building that I think you're going to see more. And I think it's emphasized in the team that they're facing, the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers have a bullpen. Zach Hyman went out tonight, and Jeff Skinner came in. Jeff Skinner, who would be here, maybe there. Jeff Skinner could fit in Dallas. Does Dallas have 5 playable lines? I can easily see them getting there. I know there's a check here. They can get there. They can. And then multiple steals on contracts, yes. Their big issue is a top 4D. But again, they're losing Duchesne on a steal. They're losing Granlund on a steal, and they're losing Ben. When it comes to the future of this Dallas Stars lineup, I think this was their last good year to take a hack at it. I think their biggest miss was a D-man at the deadline. They really should have went in on the top 4 right D. I know any Dallas fan knows that. I'm not implying anything that Dallas fans don't know, but this forward core can't get better. Not with the new Rantanen extension. It cannot get better in the next 2 years. Then, Seguin's contract is up. After that, you have Robertson, on a good contract. You have Johnson on a steal. You have Hint. You have Rantanen on a solid contract. Bork will be entering his prime. Heiskanen, Harley, Lindell, all on great contract. Actually, I don't know if Harley has a contract, but if he does, I know it's not something people are going to complain about because Dallas's only guy over 10 million, I believe, is Rantanen. This and Ottinger on a big contract, but I'm not going to call it a steal. I'm not going to call it a bad one either. Because if you're going to pay an $8 million goalie, you'd want Ottinger, not exactly what Swayman put up this season, you know? As for prospects, their pool's pretty empty. I put Hemming because I've seen quite a bit of fervor, or not quite a bit, but like a spark around him in terms of fervor. But nothing from here is going to fix what Dallas has. Right now, I think their biggest issue is their defense, and I think they're going to lose the 7 top 6 forwards. They don't have a lot of money next year, and they got to decide whether keeping Ben is going to be worth it for the team. And obviously, Ben's been paid $10 million, but unless he's coming in at some low cost that I don't think is realistic, I think we see Dallas maybe not reach the Western Conference final next year. They still could. I personally think the Central is a weak division, and I'll get into that over my next series that I'm talking about. When it comes to the Dallas Stars, they need a bit of time in the oven. But I think when Seguin is done, when Seguin is all done with his contract, they could re-sign him at 5. How far the cap will have gone up with all of these steals of contracts, and the fact that they're losing a $10 million salary, which at worst would go down to like 5 or 6. You're looking at a team on Dynasty Watch after the next 2 seasons. The Dallas Stars could legitimately be Stanley Cup finalists for 5 straight years after that if they fix this in that time frame, and they're going to have $10 million to do it because all their core pieces are wrapped up in long-term contracts that are going to be successful. The only one that I believe comes up soon is Lindell, which is the same time Seguin is going to go out, and nobody's paying Lindell 10 or even 9 million. He's going to get a chunk. He's going to get a chunk because he deserves a chunk, but this lineup, it's not there yet. It won't be there next year, and it probably won't be there the year after that. And I'm not going to say no immediately, but in 2 years. In 2 years is when I predict the Dallas Stars will be at their most dangerous. As long as nothing bad happens, because I forgot to put something here, I'll just put Coach DeBoer. He is not popular tonight. Peter DeBoer. Okay. My second favorite team throughout my journey of hockey. My first is the Oilers. Well, my second is the San Jose Sharks. I know about DeBoer. And I pulling Ottinger down 2-0 when both of those goals were. I mean, the second one could have been saved, but realistically, 2 guys were left open in front of the net. That is these guys' fault and this guy's fault for having a system. I mean, he could have said, "Oh yeah, cover the guy," but realistically, Edmonton found a hole both times, 2 different holes. If you actually look at the play on Perry's goal, it's really creative by Edmonton, but I don't know if he's the guy who takes it. But the problem is, all right, here's where we go into the future. All right, Seguin's done. What happens next year? You fire DeBoer after another Western Conference Finals loss, or worse, a second round loss, right? You know who's available next year? John Cooper's contract is up, and there's word that he might not be re-signing with Tampa. If the Dallas Stars get John Cooper at the end of next year, and this contract is up the year after, I see a world, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but I see a world where Dallas can get 3 cups in a tight span. This team has a lot of potential. but it's just not their year. I oh man, I'm so scared of this team in a few years. But as of now, they're kind of predictable out. Actually, I predicted exactly where they'd be out. I don't know why, but yeah. Hold up. Did it go out? Okay, no, we're still. All right, yeah. While we're still recording, I'd like to say thank you for watching. And if you're watching this late, have a good night. If you're watching this early, have a good morning. If you're watching this midday, have a good afternoon. And please stick around. See a couple more videos. I'm going to do this for every team that got eliminated. This is just the first one because I know more about Dallas than the others. So yeah, have a good one.